today. And chairing this session is someone who requires no introduction to any one of us in our wonderful profession of connecting and communicating effectively with people. The former National President of the Public Relations Society of India and one of the most distinguished Chief Public Relations Officers that the Eastern Railway of India has ever had, Samir Goswami. Samir, we would want you up here on stage to chair this. He is, of course, a legend in our profession. And I would say that the Eastern Railway did so well in communicating with people when he was at the helm of affairs as its Chief Public Relations Officer. At present, he is the head of the Public Relations Division of Genesis Advertising Private Limited. Joining Samir on board here are a galaxy of speakers. May I have the privilege of welcoming on stage Sheema Ahuja, Vice President and Global Head of Communications of Biocon. Incidentally, the theme is Young India and Digital Media Revolution. A versatile corporate communications and brand management professional playing a leadership role since a decade. Extremely passionate about building corporate brands and employee engagement. She has worked with well-known chief executives of the pharma industry, currently steering the corporate communications functions at India's biggest biopharma enterprise, Biocon, including CSR communication. Biocon Foundation and Biocon Academy, the new advanced learning initiative. Joining us on stage, Director, Mouli's Advertising Service Private Limited, R. Chandramouli. Chandramouli is a senior communications professional with more than 3 decades of experience in journalism, advertising, and global media. He graduated from the Oklahoma State University, Stillwater, Oklahoma, United States in '82 with a master's in mass comm. He served as a reporter with the newspaper in the US for 2 years before returning to India to join Mouli's Advertising in 1984. He has been part of the agency's creative and client service teams, handling clients and brands at the national level, including BEL, BEL, Power Grid Corporation, Neyveli Lignite, United India, Mumbai Airport, Mafoy, Randstad, so on and so forth, and overseas organizations like Emirates Global Aluminium, etc. A pioneer in content writing in the format of thought leader articles on LinkedIn for various clients in the digital space. Participated in more than 15 half marathons. Oh, good. And in rowing championships in India and abroad. Guest lecturer at Advertising and Journalism Institutes in India, a motivational speaker on the subject of keeping fit after 40, but you don't look 40. Okay. You will look less than 40. Subject of keeping fit after 40 at corporate forums. R. Chandramouli, we welcome you amidst us. That then, ladies and gentlemen, is the very erudite panel for this morning's session. I would hand over the proceedings to our very own Samir.
First of all, good morning to everybody. To eminent speakers of this session, Srimati Sheema Ahuja, Sri R. Chandramouli, my dear friends who have in PRSI who have joined this 38th PR conference, All India PR conference as delegates who have come from all over the country, other distinguished guests, and young friends coming from different institutes. This is actually My role is here very simple. I am interested in giving some more time to the speakers for whom you were waiting. They are in by very kindly have joined this seminar, this conference. But at the same time, I feel myself privileged to chair the session, and I want to speak just as an introduction of the subject. This conference is emphasizing the young India and communication revolution. Two things are very important. And I am interested in starting from my childhood, when I was reading in primary section in the school. There, we needed to attend the school every day with a page of handwriting and showed it to the teachers because they were interested. Lately, I could understand to improve our handwriting. My grandson, he completed 6 years on this 9th December. He always interested in getting me in front of his desktop and show something, whatever he likes. And I am having another problem every evening when I return from my office. I cannot keep my mobile phone on the table because my granddaughter, 1.5 years old, she will ask and demand my mobile phone, and she is having enough knowledge to swipe this out and get some pictures. This is the scenario. And in peer, because we are the PR professionals and it is a PR conference, we have to come back at least to add to some things in peer. This has become a very important peer tool now, especially online communication, to keep pace with the speed in communication. And any kind of relationship, interpersonal, group or mass, is possible with the help of this digital system. You must have seen the politicians are extensively use this medium. They prefer to communicate always online because they are having the access directly to the mass, as well as they are getting coverage on the next day or in the same evening by TV channels, all the newspapers, that what they have said in their either Facebook or have tweeted something. And very silently we are having a new word. We were getting the use of the e-governance. Silently we have got a new word also, that is m-governance, mobile governance. It has come within our hands. The the people of any age is feeling comforts to use the mouse instead of the pen nowadays. Saying just an introduction, because this is not my duty to speak long on the subject. Intermittently, I may like to add some points between their speeches. First of all, I'm interested in inviting Srimati Sheema Ahuja. Please, if you kindly come to the podium. Thank you.
You'll remove this. Bring this alive, then we'll connect this to the that's for the audio.
See that?
Yeah.
See?
Yeah. No, I'm fine.
Good. You're looking good.
Should I stand on the other side otherwise? Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be here today in the city of joy, Calcutta, and to be here in December, which is also the festive season. Before I share my views on Young India and the digital media revolution, I would like to thank PRSI, Mr. Samir Mahapatra, and Mr. Goswami for inviting me here and giving me this opportunity. Young India and the digital media revolution, as we know today, the next revolution after Gutenberg revolution has been the digital media revolution. And all of us are experiencing this in our day-to-day life. So what is digital media? Digital media is any media that can be created, viewed, distributed, modified, and preserved on digital electronic devices. Digital media is frequently contrasted with print media, such as printed books, newspapers, and magazines, and other traditional or analog media such as pictures, film, or audio tape. Digital media has a significant, wide-ranging, and complex impact on society and culture. So how digital media has changed over years? Digital media has a significant, wide-ranging, and complex impact on society and culture today. If I was to talk to you about the scenario of 90s, the digital media began to gain power in the mid-90s, with the use of internet gaining acceptance across the world. Prior to that, in late 1980s, less than 1% of the world's technologically stored information was in digital format, which rapidly progressed to 94% by 2007 and is nearly 100% now. The onset of digital revolution of mid-90s was further aided by the email services platform that all of us remember, which was introduced in 1996 as Hotmail, founded by our very own Samir Bhatia, which was the first free web-based email service platform. It was later acquired by Microsoft in 1997, and by 2012, the Hotmail had 360 million users. And we all know how this Hotmail acquired by Microsoft was further introduced as Outlook in 2013. And since then, Outlook has actually become a part of our lives. Similarly, during the same time, Yahoo was started at the Stanford University by its founders Jerry Yang and David Filo in January 1994. as a directory of other websites, which was soon introduced as the guide to the World Wide Web Yahoo in January 1995. In early 2000s, almost a decade later, in January 2004, we witnessed another revolution in the digital world, which was social networking. And I don't know how many of you remember, the first social networking site that all of us rushed to make our profiles on was Orkut, which led to mushrooming of several social networking platforms. Subsequently, however, the avalanche was brought in by our very own Mark Zuckerberg, and that was in the form of new sensation called Facebook. Facebook, though arrived at the same time as Orkut, its first avatar was a private university network, but subsequently was converted to a free-of-cost public networking social platform, and rest, as they say, is history. Within a few years, we all know, Facebook became the #1 social platform, and the pioneer Orkut began to drop market share. And finally, sadly, last year it had to fold up, which was almost a decade after it was introduced. One interesting insight I would also want to share here is that during the same time, LinkedIn was launched in 2003, which emerged as the first of its kind, strong professional networking platform, while Twitter, introduced in 2006, brought in a short format communication breakthrough. YouTube, introduced a year before, brought a paradigm shift in the way video content was shared. Today, we have countless digital platforms like Google+, Pinterest, Flickr, Instagram, etc. But the latest platform that has caught the world by storm, and most certainly India, is WhatsApp, introduced in 2010. Smartphone penetration has further led to an onslaught of apps almost every day. So that, my dear friends, is how the landscape has moved from mid-90s to 2010, where we stand today. Some issue with my slide. Slide is not showing up, some compatibility issue. See, this is here.
Got this.
See, it's showing here. It's showing here, it's showing here.
It's not in. This is right now.
No, this slide. The image was showing here, right? It was showing here.
Back.
No, this is also not showing fully. It was running very well on my system earlier. Can you just bring it here so that I can continue?
No.
Let me try and get really caught the attention of a young youth as much as the other platforms. The youth on the LinkedIn represents only a small 15%. So clearly this platform has a lot of scope to be popularized in the youth of today. So welcome to the age of millennials. So who are millennials? Millennials are typically the ones born between 1980 and 2000 and are also known as Generation Y or the Next Generation. Millennials, as we know, have grown up in an electronics-filled and increasingly online and socially networked world. They are the generation that has received the most marketing attention, and having been raised on the mantra of follow your dreams and being told they are very special at homes by all of us, they tend to be very, very confident. And I think we should give them a big round of applause for the kind of confidence our younger generation reflects today. Since millennials grew up with computers, the internet, and the graphical user interface, this familiarity makes them adept at understanding interfaces and visual languages. They tend to adjust really well to new programs, operating systems, and devices, and to perform computer-based tasks more quickly than older generations. And all of us experience this at home with our children and our siblings. Although it's been proven that multitasking is not usually an effective way to work, millennials again have been making a big difference in telling us what multitasking is all about. So having understood how millennials behave, if you would look at the kind of programs which are really successful on the digital, then I would say that we have seen some of the trends show that millennials prefer to consume content in an individual setup. This perhaps explains the success of content channels on YouTube. For example, the TVF, which was founded in 2011, currently has about 20 lakh subscribers. And it has about 25.6 crores of views. Apparently, it is the 17th most subscribed channel in India. Another channel, if you look at, is AIB. AIB was founded in 2012 and which has about 18.3 lakh subscribers currently and about 18 crore views. It is the 21st most subscribed YouTube channel in India. So what does it show really? It shows that while TVF and AIB are not even 5 years old, they've already built a substantial follower base on social media. This success lies in creating content that interests millennials. So how are today's brands leveraging digital media to lure millennials? Well, the young startups are leveraging on this whole trend and are creating apps to lure millennials, which is aligned with digitization. In this case, if you look at the recent demonetization wave that we all have witnessed, has actually been exploited very well with some of the brands. Paytm, as we all know, encashed it immediately by using PM Modi as their mascot. And then furniture brands like Nilkamal that you see here, or the food joint Social, the music brand Savan, all of them jumped onto the bandwagon and exploited the opportunity to their advantage using money as the trigger. So this slide, if you see, this shows you a string of conversation, again starting from demonetization, and how three very dominating national brands participated in it and engaged with their users. So if you see, there is SPI, there's Indigo, and there's Paytm engaging with their consumers in one particular conversations. So that's the kind of speed of response that we are talking about when we engage on digital media. My system is not working, so I cannot take you through this. This is a very interesting promo, again, which was made by Ola Cabs, which was Nahi Rukega India, Cashless Chalega India. So again, I mean, within a week's time, Ola had developed this promo film and it had launched in the marketplace, and it was extremely well received. This came within the 10 days of demonetization announcement. So what I'm trying to show here is that in today's world, speed is of great essence. You know, it's no longer the print media and the television media where you'll fix up an interview, somebody will come, will talk to you, will convert it into an interview. But here you are engaging with your audiences in the real time. My next slide tells you about the top 10 biggest social media movements in 2016. So if you see, there are top 3 areas on Twitter, which is demonetization, women at Rio, cricket, and then top 10 hashtags, if you look at on Twitter. These are all related to economy, environment, and entertainment, the 3 E's. So how are the going forward, so as I mentioned to you that there are these certain areas which are really very well received by millennials, and the brands need to actually use that when they are engaging with their customers, with their clients. And one very interesting thing also is that the recent Rio 2016, we saw a lot of our athletes really use this medium very effectively. During Rio 2016, the Indian women athletes who took the lead to engage through social media was Sakshi Malik, Deepa Karmakar, and they became national heartthrobs overnight. With over 1.28 followers base for Sakshi, which as you know got us the medal for wrestling, and Deepa Karmakumar, another one who got us the medal for gymnastics. She started Twitter in August 2016 and currently has a follower base of nearly 1 lakh. So as you can see, these are very young users on Twitter, but one Rio success really made them the heartthrobs overnight. So that's the power of this medium that we are talking about. Now, coming from the pharma industry, I think it will be important for me to quickly share a few insights on how we in the pharma industry look at the digital media. I'm sure many of you would know that pharma industry has a lot of challenges since there are rules and regulations which do not allow us to promote our products directly to the customers, but it has to go through the doctors. So what the trends are showing is that, one of the biggest internal barriers to digital adoption in the pharma industry has been the level of perceived risk, particularly in social media. Companies fear that digital will open the floodgates to a tsunami of adverse event reports, all of which would have to be painstakingly logged in accordance with the law. So that is one of the reasons why pharma companies have been trying to stay away from it. But the trends are changing now, and there are studies which are showing that approximately 50% of the doctors in the US and UK have expressed their desire to engage with the companies through digital media and through social media. Twitter is emerging as a favored medium for specialists to swap news of latest developments. If you look at, traditionally, pharma engagement, as I said, has been happening through the doctors. And pharma industry is still not very pro-digital, which I mentioned earlier on. But what is shocking to see is that even today, the 67% of the communication that the pharma industry does is through traditional mediums. So I'm sure my friends who represent the traditional media will be very happy to hear that. But our doctors are not very happy with it, and they are demanding for change in trends. So the trends are changing. I think today is not my day. So the trends are changing, and the pharma industry has started adapting digital media, and a lot of apps are being introduced. While we cannot get into e-commerce, we cannot get into direct contact with the customers. As I said, the law doesn't permit it. But definitely we are trying to improve the consumer experience or the doctor experience or the patient experience through specific apps which the pharma industry is developing. But unfortunately, these apps are also not being very well received. I'm just finding out. But these are not very well received. But what we have definitely seen, which is happening very successfully, is the healthcare brands. If you look at, they have started using digital in a big way. And some of the brands which have really used very well is Practo, Portia, which are gaining prominence and which are essentially the healthcare aggregators, and they're bringing doctors together. As I mentioned earlier, pharma is a highly regulated sector, and that is why, it is not very easy to leverage digital to the full extent. However, Biocon is a pioneer in biotech focused on innovation. We always want to set benchmarks for the others. We have taken the lead, and we are using digital for some of our initiatives. And how we are addressing it is that we are staying away from the product promotion. We engage on public awareness campaigns. We organize knowledge sharing on industry-related issues. And we also focus on shaping opinions, creating awareness on sector-specific policies, and also use cause-related special campaigns, etc. So that's how we are using it. And next few slides, quickly I'll brush through, if the chairman allows me to quickly tell you how pharma industry is actually improving the patient experience and how we engage with the youth. So what you see in the slide is the No Diabetes campaign that we had run in April 2016 to commemorate the World Health Day, which falls in April. And a lot of interesting campaigns were run where we got doctors to come and hold webinars and Q&A sessions. The focus was on the youth who are also caregivers. They need not be diabetic themselves, but they definitely have somebody who is diabetic in the family. So if you look at, that's the kind of very engaging, very innovative campaigns which are run across our platforms. And this is the kind, this slide tells you a bit about the kind of conversation we had and, the participation that we had from various people. Similarly, we ran a campaign on breast cancer awareness, which again was all about getting people to participate, making them aware of how cancer as a deadly disease is, and why it is important to be aware, and why it is important to really engage and help your families. Since the time is short, I'll quickly just flick through these and come to the last slide. Just to tell you, so what we are talking about is that, the way forward for the pharma industry, the way we look at, is essentially it's time for pharma to dive into digital and deep dive and see how we can get more innovative. And good news is that there are platforms like Sermo, which is a special networking platform for doctors, where doctors are not only just coming in, it's a social networking site only for doctors, but it's not just for putting up a post saying I had a dinner here or I went for a vacation, but here this platform is being utilized more effectively to help patients. So that is more like a crowdsourcing platform where doctors come and exchange ideas, they discuss difficult situations. So again, as you can see, pharma industry is really pioneering to utilize the social networking for the benefit of patients, because we believe the pharma industry exists to make life better and to benefit patients. So going forward, I would like to conclude from here and say that what is important for the brands today is to engage with the millennials using digital, build digital into the core business, speed is of greater sense, look for innovation, but whatever you do, build scalable models and start with the leadership first, because you need to convert your leadership, you need to get a buy-in from the leadership if you really, really want to use digital to make a big difference. And now to conclude, I would like to conclude by saying that any society that fails to tap into the energy and creativity of its youth will be left behind, as Kofi Annan had said. And I'm sure you will agree with me that in India, a time has come when we have realized the potential of our youth, and through Digital India and the Startup India, we are providing the platforms for our youth to participate in the making of New India. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheema, for her excellent speech and enriching our knowledge. I also apologize to her for disturbing, because the session was started late and time is actually was given too short, because I can also understand the agony of the organizers. I like to now invite Mr. R. Chandramouli, but before inviting him, I must appreciate Sheema Ahuja, because she has said to us, giving stress upon the digital India, digital consumption of everything, and especially the penetration of social media, and which is even used for the treatment of the patients. It's a great thing. But I wanted to get some ideas which actually from my learned other speaker. I'm an aged person. I'm having some confusion in me because I am still working in the field, and also aged, I cannot forget my past. There was one word, writer. I am not sure that if in future this writer word will be available in the dictionary. But somebody was giving me the confidence, why not? Because when the equipment typing was introduced, still it was said typewriter machine, but nowadays in computer this word is not used. India is a peculiar country. Prime Minister every time speaks about digital India. But through his Man Ki Baat program, which is delivered, disseminated in radio. Actually, I was getting an article in Indian Express 2-3 days back, where it was shown that pointed out that the low literacy level in our country is giving some trouble here in actual using consumption of the digital media. Though we are getting the number is very high, actually that is counted the how many times a person is using that either Facebook or Twitter or any other online consumption media, actually internet. But the actual internet penetration in our country is 30% only. The smartphone user is 17%. And since 2014, there was no internet facility available in our country, that is 250 days. I am interested in learning the answers of these things from our other learned speaker, Mr. R. Chandramouli. Mr. Chandramouli, please.
Good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here in Calcutta. I was here 40 years ago at the Rabindra Sarovar, taking part in the rowing championships all across 1977, 79, and 80. And of course, I've come back for business many times, but whenever I come to Calcutta, the memories of Lake Club, Calcutta Rowing Club, Bengal Rowing Club, these come more than business. Good to be here. First of all, I would like to thank Samir Da for his excellent introduction. He has made my job easy by setting the tone for this part of the presentation. And later on, when Ms. Sheema spoke, she covered so well in her content-rich presentation all the important data that we should know about internet penetration and its impact on youth. So that way I've been very fortunate to have two speakers, or one moderator and a speaker, who have set the foundation for this part of my module. Okay, here we go. Hands-free, wire-free, never free. This is the issue that we have. So far, it's a case of a lot of good things happening in the world of internet, but what we are going to see now is too much of a good thing is not good, and that really is the issue that we have. Which brings us to the subject, challenges of communicating with young India. See, young India is communicating very well with its own universe, but for us to reach out to them is the issue. So if an advertiser or a public relations professional wishes to deliver some message to them, it's very difficult to get it across. Let us find out why and how. The recent cyclone in Chennai, we all know about it. Collateral damage all across. keep that as the backdrop. Now, what happens with most of the youth today is everything that they know has to come to them through that tablet or that screen or that internet medium that they're using. So until it's on Twitter, it's not official. So we do believe, I am originally from Chennai, so I can say that many of the Chennaites, the youngsters, were not really convinced that a cyclone hit them. But when they saw it on Facebook, they said, yes, we do have a problem in Chennai. That's how bad it is. So we do have a problem, which in the world of communication we say challenges. But then the job of a good communicator is to turn the problems or the challenge into an opportunity. So we are going to examine how do we connect with today's youth. We had Samir talking to us about his grandchildren, and what he was really referring to his very young grandchildren is they are the incoming generation who will actually use your mobile and other internet. So what is it that all of us are experiencing? And my views here are very, very common to the problems all of you have. I have one last problem. I may not mention it, but I will work out some courage to tell you the last problem that we have. It's very difficult to communicate with our own family members in the 16 to 20 age group. I have a daughter who is 24 and a son who is 22. And in the last 4 years, we've been watching them get hooked onto the internet. It's very difficult to take their attention away. Even if you call them to speak, even before they come from the dais to the podium, they would have finished 2 or 3 WhatsApp messages. That's how focused they are into that world. I had a nephew. I met him 2 days back, and we had a family function in Delhi. I could hardly speak to him. He was not on the net, but he was always having his headphones on. And when he was not having his headphones on, he was sleeping. So I really found it very difficult to get to him, and it took me about 2 days to have a good chat with him. When you go with youngsters in a car, normally we look at the road, right? When we were all children, we used to go in a car, and we look at the road and enjoy what we see. They're actually looking down at their screen. So they're not, and they don't even care about the fact that they're going with an elder. They might share some experiences. Those are not relevant at all. If they're in a get-together, they've come to a get-together of physical people, but actually they are in a virtual world because incoming chat messages and outgoing are disturbing them. Now, when they are with their own friends, I've noticed, they're talking to friends who are virtually present on their mobile. So it's really difficult. Now, I said I'll work up some courage if all of you promise not to share this outside. It's also very difficult to connect with your own spouse because even they have got into the WhatsApp mode and we hardly get to speak to them because half the time they are only responding to their own groups. So we're coming to a day where we're going to say, dinner ready, that on WhatsApp. So you'll have to appear at the dining table. It's really getting very bad. I think only one family member is here, and I'm sure he will not tell my wife about this. And all of you, please keep mum. Okay. Okay, where are we heading to with all this? The age of conversation is gone. We are not talking to each other at all. We are over-connected, over-immersed into the digital medium. But at the same time, this could be an opportunity because if you were to reach the same audience through their own medium, then you might get 100% attention. And that is what some brands have done, which I will take up. Some of the hard facts that we know has already been covered by Sheema, so I will not go into that. But they do spend, the youth today, if they sleep for 7 hours, they spend more time on the digital medium beyond their waking hours. And all this again covered very well. I'm not going to spend time on that. So what's happening is they're getting into one world within their own world. This is a real picture, not a staged one, where there is a lovely group of youngsters. They're not talking to each other. They are actually chatting to somebody who is absent. Driving is incidental. You know, you are actually on your phone, and if you happen to get through the road, it's fine. No wonder self-driven cars are coming into vogue, because nobody is really concentrating on the road anymore. This is going to show you a video.
আলাদা করে ভিডিওটা লোড করা যায় কি? No.
All right. It was actually a video that I saw on YouTube, where it's staged actually, where there's somebody who's trying to do the daily, what they do every day, and they're hardly concentrating, they're running into people, or they're not really doing their job, which is fine. Okay, we already said that youth are distracted. So, and therefore, using this distraction, we get into the medium that they are into, and thereby we will reach them through social media. Okay, what is it that we have on social media? Lots of plus points. As a communicator, I'm speaking. We can get to people very instantly. We also get very instant feedback. We can educate people. We can collaborate. There are resources available using social media. Excellent awareness, faster speed, empowers individuals, and great networking. And jobs also are advertised on social media. There are issues too. Too much dependence, as we saw. It's time consuming, decreases productivity, distracts, no privacy. Sometimes you can get hacked, so illegal usage. Of course, too instant feedback. There were days when we could send somebody a letter and you'd get back in 7 days. Today the answer is coming in the next few seconds. It's no longer that interesting to receive information. A lot of cybercrime, bullying online, too many rumors in WhatsApp. With all this paradox, we can still do a good job, because we have a very large number of channels through which we can communicate. And those who know about Pinterest, do look it up, because it's emerging as a very strong medium in terms of very condensed information in a short frame. So the last one is the problem, sense of belonging to a virtual community. So that is something which we have to tackle positively. And very easy to profile people, because if you want to know about somebody, look up Facebook and you would know their summary very fast. So finally, if you want to reach youth, overcoming all these challenges, you can personalize the message. You have a very defined target group. You can actually share personal stories. You can be very transparent. You can conduct business with a purpose. And you can also partner with bloggers who are good social influencers and ask them to support the good cause that you may have. Okay, what could be the strategies? Working around the topics of interest. You have social networking, and under that you have chat, you have hangout with friends, you have updates. Remember that the screen that you are looking at supports any kind of intrusive advertising. Therefore, you will be able to reach out when they are busy with their own mission to connect with people. You have various videos, and here also you have gaming. You have things like international food, everything. You can get into those media. Of course, entertainment, very easy to get into. So your message can go through on this. Also with health and fitness. Anywhere you want, your digital strategy will work. Let's say, I'm taking one example of a brand, cooking oil. It has an organic olive oil. It's a spray. What you could do, create a hashtag and talk about healthy eating and get this to social organizations, engage, and then you could create a healthy recipe and actually popularize this new cooking oil without releasing a half-page color ad. That is the power of digital if you were to use it in the right medium. Why should we go digital when everybody is on it? It's got great influence on lifestyle, gets you very good participation, and definitely engages the community. What you can do actually is, today it's all digital and social. Our Prime Minister said this. He said, India is the world's most youthful nation. He says, let's dream big and let's enable youth to dream so that we give them opportunity to realize their dreams. Quick case studies. All of you have seen this particular campaign. This is very good because H.R. Johnson did this to say accessibility where you can't for the disabled. They said we'll provide tiles, example in a beach, so that the handicapped could be able to reach those places. Fair and Lovely did very good work on women empowerment using social media. And last thing is, many of you may not know, or maybe I'm telling you news, tagging is a very good way to get your entire network to know about something that you are doing or a good cause that is being taken up by somebody. You can get the best out of digital if you find the common ground to communicate, if you find balance, and the entire family, from the young to the holistic family, you can discover happiness. It is not as bad as we think. Thank you so much for your time and patience.
Thank you, Chandramouli. With his speech, this session ends, but I am tempted just to make a comment that hearing him, that according to him, to connect the people in a better way, what he has, what is in our subject, challenges of connecting with young India, that a strong relationship with all the stakeholders, any growth story actually depending upon the properly and rightly used of, or the better to say, the skill in using the modern advanced digital communication. Timely sharing of information is very important nowadays, but we have to keep it in mind that both physiological and psychological combination will give us to the communicators the better result possibly, because I was saying that it is a peculiar country. Still now, before the election, we find the candidates using the Facebook, as well as they are starting their campaign with playing of darts, that is Bengal drums, a kind of drums, what was shown in the beginning, at the time of the beginning of the day, the peculiar country. So we should keep it in mind And thank you all that we are running behind the schedule. I am controlling my temptation to speak on the subject because the subject will, though hands-free, were free, but never free. The combination of both are required. Thank you very much.
Shomit, thank you very much for conducting this erudite panel in such a befitting manner. Friends, we are terribly behind schedule. It's more than an hour since we are behind time, and many of our friends who have come from far away, they have their flights and train schedules pretty early in the evening, and they would want to go away, but at the same time they should not be kind of deprived from hearing the deliberations. We shall greet our eminent panelists here. May I request Asif Shah, the treasurer of the Kolkata chapter, to come up and greet Sheema Ahuja for her wonderful deliberation. Sheema Ahuja, Vice President and Global Chief of Communications, Biocon. May I request Probir Chatterjee, member of the PRSI's Kolkata chapter, to kindly come up on stage and greet Mr. R. Chandramouli. Sri Chandramouli, Director, Mouli's Advertising Private Limited. Thank you for being with us, sir, at this very important function. And finally, may I request Subhash Mohanty, the Secretary of the chapter, to kindly come up and greet Sri Samir Goswami, the Chair of the panel. In true bonhomie of a younger and an elder brother together in the profession for so many years, they know one another for possibly no less than 40 years now, since both of them have been in profession together. Thank you very much. Samir Goswami, Sheema Ahuja, R. Chandramouli, for making this session so interesting.